The following is a special presentation of Extreme eSpeed TV, your new home for everything iRacing and eSpeed.
Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family-owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Pro Late Model Dirt Series presented by Extreme eSpeed TV. I am Travis Piersfield as usual, and joined with Adam Johnson as we get ready for another night of exciting Wednesday night racing action here on Extreme eSpeed TV. It's tonight's Farmland 50 from Lincoln Speedway. You see cars are out on the track. We've currently got 14 cars unloaded and ready to go. And Adam, it should be an exciting night of 50 laps around this small Pennsylvania dirt track.
That's right. It's going to go by quickly, as these 50 lappers often do. But, you know, we're kind of settling into this point of the season. This will be race number 11 of our 2024 season, and just the second time all time that the series has competed at this Pennsylvania facility. So, taking a look at some of those practice times right now, your quickest ones out there are Brandon and Brandon. Brandon Combs with the 14.59, and then of course you've got Brandon Marlowe with the 14.66. But you know, Dylan Perry, Joshua Johnson, all putting down some good times. Like to see that from Joshua Johnson. Don't see him in all the races here this season, but gonna get a good look. Like that scheme, beautiful camera angle we're getting there from down low. So the sun's starting to set. Good shade, beautiful night in May, and really this is going to be race number 2, I believe, in May of a pretty jam-packed summer coming up. We've got another race next week, a couple weeks off, but then 2 more races in June. So we're getting into the thick of it. These races matter. These are the races that, you know, when you get to the end of the season, you're like, man, if I would have just finished a little better, if I would have pushed a little harder, if I wouldn't have just, you know, made that mistake. So it may not win you a championship tonight, but you can certainly set yourself back pretty far. So getting a beautiful look here. Practice still going on, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great night from Lincoln Speedway.
Well, before we get to Houston Guttering time trials, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Give a shout out to those sponsors of the Pro Late Model Dirt Series as we're coming live from Lincoln Speedway tonight. It's the Farmland 50 here on Extreme eSpeed TV.
This is the premier podcast for late model dirt track racing. This is Forward Bite, hosted by superfan and actual know-it-all Kyle Armstrong on the Speed Sport Podcast Network.
Welcome back to another edition of the Forward Bite Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Armstrong.
Welcome back to Lincoln Speedway as it's tonight's Farmland 50 here from Lincoln Speedway for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Adam, it looks like we've got 14 cars here. Looking at those timed laps from Hot Laps, we'll bring them up on the screen. Brandon Combs, Brandon Marlowe up top. Dylan Perry, our back-to-back champion, third fastest. Joshua Johnson fourth. Jacob Lassiter in fifth. Looking at this track, Lincoln Speedway, level of difficulty may come into play tonight. You see the rookies here down towards the middle to the bottom of the times. Be interesting to see how they adapt here with the series as we come here into Lincoln tonight.
Yeah, and there's some rookies you're going to want to watch, and kind of keep an eye and get a gauge for what's going on tonight. We've got the Rookie of the Year standings presented by AC Customs Graphics, and I'll tell you what, Jason Crow having a heck of a season. He's right now registered, hasn't run any laps yet tonight, and so there's less than a minute left in practice. So keep an eye on Jason Crow. We've got Kenny Haight as well. I'm looking on our schedule. Don't see Kenny Haight, so that gives an opportunity for a guy. There's Kendrick Hicks, Tyler Benfield, Hayden Swaney. I see Swaney ninth there. Hicks behind him in 10th. So watch these rookies tonight because, this isn't exactly a common spot for this series, as I mentioned on the top of the broadcast. Just our second time here. So it's still going to be a little bit of a crapshoot, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to see from each of these drivers because we haven't had as many reps. But, you're hoping they're doing the work on the simulator during the week. You hope they've been kind of preparing. They've had an extra week off. So if there's ever a time to show what you got, it's right now as practice wraps up. And the guy they'll be chasing will be Dylan Perry, who leads in the point standings. He's got almost a 200-point lead, 197 points back. Brandon Marlowe, who's second as well in our quickest lap times, and then Brandon Combs, who's the top of the lap time boards tonight. He is third. So a lot of incentive. You're going to need Jason Crow to hopefully get logged in here because he's fourth in the standings, top rookie, and he can further cement his status as the Rookie of the Year, but he's got other goals in mind, and that includes running for a championship win.
Well, with that, we're going to move on to Houston Guttering time trials here from Lincoln Speedway. Set the field for those carrier heat races coming up next as we'll wait for cars to get ready. It looks like John Hine and that 71 Bass Pro Shops machine is going to be a part of that first group that hits the track. We'll see who else will join him. As we said, 14 cars here tonight, unloaded and ready to go. You see that 75 of Andy Piercefield there beside him. Both parked there in the infield, ready to go and hit the track. A couple good looking hot rods right there, the 71 Bass Pro Shops and that 75 Evans air conditioning machine. Little brother Andy's got the drone out. You can see from high above.
Hoping he's not making contact there with the 75. Awfully close there, Hine and Piercefield.
As there's more cars out there on the track getting ready to go, including that rookie Jason Crow.
That's right. Good to see him logged on and ready to run. Jason Crow, one of our rookies, joining us from Hot Springs, Arkansas, with Hot Laps Heroes and Crow Trucking on his ride in that Longhorn chassis and Mullins race engine. Looks like we're getting double-digit starts from him finally in this series.
Also out on the tracks, that 22, that's Brandon Ben. Comes from Minford, Ohio. That's B&B Custom Baits Combs Cuts. That is a Rocket XR1 chassis. Brandon shoots to the top of the charts, a 1685 his first lap. Both cars improving on their first lap to lap number 2.
Yeah, heck of a battle there at the start. Two of our faster cars. So like what they're showing, they're putting it all out for hot laps.
Out on the tracks, that 1C machine. Colin Boyles from Decatur, Illinois. Trimbley and Sons Concrete Building Systems of Illinois. Rich DPC Vortex Wraps Logitech. That's a Longhorn chassis and a Vic Hill race engine.
And good to see Joshua Johnson out there from Waynesville, Georgia. He's got Vortex Wraps, A.W. Willingham Trucking, and Vortex Motorsports with that CVR race car chassis and Vic Hill race engine.
So Voiles will be third fastest his first lap. Johnson fourth fastest. We'll see what they're able to pick up on lap number 2. You see Voiles improved to a 1565. Oh, and Johnson to the top of the charts, a 1533. Seeing major improvement from lap number 1 to lap number 2. Voiles will go into second, besting Bender. And that is how we will be done after 4. Johnson, Voiles, Bender, and Crow.
As we eagerly await our next driver out there, looks like it'll be the 52, the rookie Hayden Swaney from Chatsworth, Georgia, with DPR Chip Bangers Racing, Twisted Race Engines, and that CVR race car chassis and Twisted Performance engine. Got at least one top 10 in this series. Looking for some more.
Also on the track is the director. That's that 3 of Cody Early from Greenville, Tennessee Bass Pro Shops. Schaefer's Race Oil, Hoosier Racing Tires, Oakley Sunglasses, and Bowman Designs. He's 5th fastest. His first lap, a 1703. Swanee, a 1776. See Swanee improve into the 15s, as does Cody Early. They'll stay 5th and 6th, respectively. So they will end up early 5th fastest, Swanee 6th fastest.
But look at that. Joshua Johnson top spot with a 15.33 in Houston Guttering time trials. Wouldn't have any issue at all if I saw him wrap up at fastest time in qualifying. And speaking of fast, it's the 7 of Dylan Perry, our 2022 and 2023 champion from Ringgold, Georgia. And that Evans air conditioning machine looking real sharp tonight with Extreme eSpeed TV on the front. Harrison Automotive as well there on the side quarter panel. And tell you what, he's got that CVR race car and Phantom Race engine looking good. Looking to just continue to climb atop the all-time wins list. Already far and away leader, and he jumps far and away to the front with a 15.15.
So he'll shoot to the top of the charts here. 7 drivers in. That's half of what we have here. Actually, it looks like we had a couple more cars on load. So a few more drivers ready to go, including that 224. That's Tyler Benefield, rookie from Huntsville, Alabama. Dylan Perry Racing, Foskey Illustrations, Rapid Race Graphics, Huffman Tire, Chipbanger Racing, Liberty Racing. Review, Extreme eSpeed TV, Bang & Sets, Custom Cuts, Big Pimpin' Race Cars. First lap of 1776. Also out on the track is that 75 machine.
That's right, 75 of Andy Piercefield from Ball Ground, Georgia with that Extreme eSpeed TV and Evans Air Conditioning and Plumbing Machine. He's also got Arizona Sports Shirts and Piercefield Media Group and that Masterbuilt race car chassis and Cornet Racing engine.
Benefield 4th fastest after his first patriotic lap, now a 15:37. Piercefield 9th fastest, a 15:93. Now on the track's that 37, it's Brandon Marlowe. He was fast in hot lap. See what he can do down here in Houston Guttering time trials. He's from Benton, Missouri. Hot lap Heroes Racing, Tin Tech Seamless Guttering, Crow Trucking in that Capital race car.
And it looks like Jacob Laster also out there, an OG driver to the series from Dresden, Tennessee, with Team Hot Labs Heroes, Larson Logistics, Crow Trucking, and Tin Tech with that Rayburn race car chassis and custom race engine.
Brandon Marlowe repeats what he did in hot lap, 2nd fastest, a 15:28 just behind Dylan Perry. Lassiter will move up to 3rd fastest, a 15:30. Kendrick Hicks in that 64 machine out on the track.
Hicks, one of our rookies from Willard, Kentucky, with Econal, Shane Bailey Racing, Bernie Racing Solutions, Michael Boggs Photography, and AC Custom Graphics, with Swartz by SBR on the chassis and Hendren Race Engine on the inside.
Hendrick's 13th fastest is 7:45. 2nd fastest is Brandon Combs. From Cincinnati, Ohio, Sprint Dirt Car Series Chipbanger Racing B&B Custom Baits. He will be 2nd fastest, a 15:25, just besting Brandon Marlowe. Hicks wheels it on into the infield there. 2 cars to go, so 15 cars here unloaded and ready to go.
Speaking of your boy, John Hine, St. Louis, Missouri man himself with Bath Pro Shops, Extreme eSpeed TV, and Gambler Motorsports. That Rocket XR1 Durham race engine. He gets closer to the wall there. We'll see what he can put down for his first time by.
18.17 first lap. We'll see what he's able to improve on lap number 2. He'll head off into turns 1 and 2. Really, it's the bottom 2/3 of the track through the corners where cars are currently. We'll see how that plays out throughout the night. You can see that bump in the middle of 3 and 4. As Hein improved to 12th his second lap, he'll stay right there, a 15:48, 12th fastest. And that will lead us to our 15th and final, that 69 of Aiden Young from Dalton, New Hampshire. Young Gun Creations, the Farmyard Store, Gambler Motorsports. That's a Longhorn chassis and an RPM race engine. He was one of the last to unload here this evening in that 69 machine. First lap, a 16.90, so a sub-17 first lap. Good lap there. He'll move up to 12th fastest. Identical time to Early and Hein, a 15.48. Final lap won't improve. He'll end up 12th fastest. That's a 15.48 for Aiden Young. And just like that, Houston Guttering time trials come to an end. Fast time going to be Dylan Perry in that 7 machine. As we will move on to those carrier heat races here in a moment.
And carrier heat race number 1 will be led by Dylan Perry and Jacob Laster. Row 2, Tyler Benefield and Kendrick Hicks, with John Hein behind them. And they will get closer to the green flag here. As the fans continue to pile in, you see a packed parking lot out there. More space on the track, quite honestly.
Well, as always, here in the Pro Late Model Dirt Series, as we go green and carrier heat race number 1. As they head down the backstretch here on lap number 1. Another great crowd here for the Pro Late Model Dirt Series as we head to Pennsylvania here tonight from Lincoln Speedway. Dylan Perry will lead lap number 1.
Perry holding strong. It's almost followed the leader right now, single file essentially. Perry, Laster, Hicks. Hicks the only one up 1 spot. Basically traded places with Tyler Benefield.
So you can see single line up there through the corner as they settle in here, coming to the halfway mark. Dylan Perry will lead as they come to 3 to go. Lassiter looking down to the inside, see if he's going to be able to make a move. No real passing lanes coming in yet. Lassiter has to fall back in line down the backstretch.
And less than 2 laps to go. Still Perry Lassiter, your top 2, as Hill will take the white flag and carry your heat race number 1. 1 to go.
Dylan Perry through the corners there. Down the back stretch. Lassiter falling in line in his tire tracks here. Not going to have a move here through 3 and 4. Dylan Perry will pick up win in carrier heat race number 1. So just like that, carrier heat race number 1 is in the books.
And carrier heat race number 2 will be led by Brandon Combs, Joshua Johnson, Brandon Benner and Cody Early, and Hayden Swaney in 5th.
I saw Joshua Johnson this afternoon at the gas pump. Was hopeful for racing here tonight as he's been fast here all evening long.
How was the come and go today?
So 2 by 2 they're lined up. 5 drivers here in carrier heat race number 2. Second of 3 carrier heat races tonight. I'd say watch out for that 22 of Brandon Bender here in this one, Adam. He's someone that has had some great runs as of late. See if he's able to make any other lanes come through. You can already see where it's starting to slicken up there middle of the track. That was the preferred line there in carrier heat race number 1.
Yeah, and I like to watch for Hayden as well. Sorry for the static. Working with some microphone issues here, but these...
Green flag waves. Brandon Combs, Joshua Johnson take us off into turn number 1 here in carrier heat race. Combs breaks away up front, but there's a 3-way battle for second there momentarily as Bender, Swanee, and Johnson were battling there. They'll settle back in. You can see Bender has some damage to his left front from some contact. So with that, Combs was able to break away there. 2 laps into this one already.
Yeah, this is an important one for Combs tonight, being that he's 3rd in the standings. So, you know, you got Brandon Marlowe that he's got to worry about. So Combs, this could be great for momentum tonight if he can close this out. Johnson, though, playing pretty dang well. Got a little bit of space between 1st and 2nd, though, but if he's able to kind of keep that pace going into the main event, I think he's going to be a contender in that top 10 area.
Aiden Swanee up from 5th to 4th, so that's 3 spots for his starting position there in that feature event tonight. But out front, it's all Brandon Combs here in carrier heat race number 2. He's been able to break away by over a second. Johnson 2nd, Bender 3rd still. Bender still following in the tire tracks of that 117. Just unable to make that second line come in here yet. As you can see, the track starts to move up towards that wall, which if that comes into play, Adam, hopefully that makes this a 2-lane race by that 50-lap feature event.
Yeah, I think that's the way it's trending right now as we approach the white flag final lap here. As our generator just kicked on.
White flag waves. Brandon Combs will come around. Checkered flag waves. He will pick up carrier heat race number 2. Joshua Johnson 2nd. Brandon Bender in 3rd. As we will get ready for carrier heat race number 3.
And carrier heat race number 3 will be led by Brandon Marlowe and Colin Voiles. Row 2 of Jason Crow and Aiden Young, and Andy Piercefield rounding out the rear. And you saw Leadfoot Larry there each time he gets out there. The hydraulics on that truck. And very intense. We see what you're seeing as well, folks at home.
Concession stand here at Lincoln is one of the best. Saw Adam down there. You got one of those giant pickles. But the green flag waves here on carrier heat race number 3. It's Marlowe to the lead. Voiles trying to make that outside line work here through 1 and 2. Oh, into the wall, Colin Voiles. As that stacks him up behind him. Not the cleanest of starts here in carrier heat race number 3.
Yeah, a little dirty.
As Crow down to the inside of Marlowe. As they are side by side through 1 and 2 down the backstretch. Our best battle for the lead all night happening now.
Well, I think you're right, Travis, when you talked about in carrier heat race number 2. They are going to open up both of those lanes. And this is the most competitive heat race we've seen thus far. I still think that top line has a little bit more of the grip, but I'll tell you what, if there's ever a guy who can test it and find results, it's going to be Jason Crow. And, man, he's giving Brandon Marlowe a run for his money right now.
You know, and I think of some of those drivers that like to go down to that inside line, like a Dylan Perry and a Brandon Combs. That line may come in sooner than later in that 50-lap feature event as more and more drivers try to go down there and make something work there. As we're halfway, it's Brandon Marlowe, your leader, Crow second, Voiles in third.
Well, that just goes to speak on like how much change happens in this race. You know, we talked about mid-season last year through now. You know, the tire wear, that's a factor. May not be as big a factor tonight in just a 50-lap event, but you're right. The groove's kind of getting, turned in and developing over time. Tires may not be the issue. It may be, what line do I take? That could be the issue. So many storylines, even in races, whether it's 100 laps or 50 laps. That's what I love about this series. We have just under 2 laps to go now.
Marlowe's still your leader. Crow, who we talked about as one of those outstanding rookies this season, continues his great runs here in the Pro Late Model Dirt Series. Running in second here in carrier heat race number 3 as the white flag waves. One more half lap to go here at Lincoln. Brandon Marlowe will win. Crow second, Voiles third, Andy Piercefield in fourth, Aiden Young in fifth. And with that, we will move on to our last chance showdown presented by Custom Combs Cuts. It's going to line up like this. It's John Hine alongside Cody Early and Aiden Young. So these three will set the tail end of that 50-lap feature field here for 12 laps. Green flag waves on our Combs Cuts last chance showdown. Yeah. We have some gap here between the three cars on the track. Hine trying to make a move on Cody Early here in this one. Early leading early. As Hine looks to his inside through 3 and 4.
Ooh, this is a little competitive though right there. As you see Hine trying some things. He's getting close.
Oh, and now Aiden Young
He
jumps
swung it in there. And I'll tell you what, John Hine. Oh, he's going to squeeze right in through. Oh, he's not going to get there. Wow, Cody Early really rocking that outside lane. I can see why he added this to the schedule because it looks like he runs pretty well on it. Ooh, they're a little wobbly.
As we got a 3-car battle here in this last chance showdown for that lead. Hines stuck in the middle of that, the cream in this Oreo sandwich.
Oh, a little sticky too, it looks like he got there, but I'll tell you what, Cody Early maintaining just enough distance. He's allowing the guys behind them to really use up what they got, and really all within striking distance. I like this as we are slowly getting towards halfway to go through this one.
All 3 cars, best lap, all within 5/100ths of a second of each other. So very competitive battle here for these 3. As we look to see what this field will look like for that Farmland 50 coming up next here from Lincoln Speedway. Four laps remaining here in this Combs Cuts Last Chance Showdown. John Hine has closed that gap on early. He was right to his bumper there before that corner. You can see Hine running up about a half a line more. Oh, he'll slide up almost to the wall there that time through the corner. As Cody Early still battling and holding on, but now Aiden Young to the inside of John Hine for second.
Yeah, John Hine holding on the best he could, and he still has a shot here, but their battling only benefits Cody Early, who's, a lap and a half away from closing this out. But you see Young, oh, if he can get some grip. Young, your leader for a moment. Cody Early takes it right back. We are at the final lap. Young has that inside lane. He may have just taken it, stolen it from Cody Early. Here comes Scott's last chance winner. Aiden, into the wall. Cody Early second, John Hine third.
So a great way to finish our preliminary events here from Lincoln Speedway tonight. Next up, we've got our Farmland 50 feature event here from Lincoln. But for now, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got pre-race festivities here from Pennsylvania. You're watching the Pro Late Model Dirt Series here on Extreme eSpeed TV.
Dyer Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
This is the premier podcast for late model dirt track racing. This is Forward Bite, hosted by superfan and actual know-it-all Kyle Armstrong on the Speed Sport Podcast Network.
Welcome back to another edition of the Forward Bite Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Armstrong.
Welcome back to Lincoln Speedway here on Extreme eSpeed TV as it's Pro Late Model Dirt Series for the Farmland 50 as we throw it down to the PA announcer for tonight's National Anthem. And with that, we'll take one more quick commercial break. When we come back, we've got pre-race analyzing of tonight's Farmland 50 from Lincoln Speedway as you're watching Extreme eSpeed TV.
Introducing the latest technology in the racing industry, SpringRithm. SpringRithm is an app that can replace a spring smasher, giving you access to the same information the fast guys are using to stay ahead. The app tells you where to set your coilover nuts to hit your install loads and tells you the dynamic loads that the car will see in travel. It also simplifies adjustments at the track, giving you the information needed to adjust loads without taking the shock off the car. SpringRithm has been rigorously tested to ensure accuracy. There's no excuse to not be using SpringRithm.
Dyer Trucking in Mohawk, Tennessee is family owned and operated, and their main goal is to always please their customers and deliver their freight in a timely manner. If you need it hauled and you're in East Tennessee, the number you need is 423-393-4229. That's 423-393-4229. Dyer Trucking's also on Facebook. Pick up the phone and give Brad and his family a call today. Dyer Trucking. If you need it, they can get it. Find them on Facebook.
And they're running strong right now. Less than 20 laps to go. We'll see if they can pull it off. Still a little bit of movement taking place. We apologize for any technical difficulties, but hopefully you've been enjoying the sights and sounds here on Extreme eSpeed TV. And it is Dylan Perry, Jacob Lassiter, Brandon Combs, your top three, but a lot of movement still taking place. A lot of racing still to go. Take a look at that 69 machine of Aiden Young, up 9 spots. Right now, your Buttkicker hard charger right now, up 9 spots. This is probably one of the cleaner long runs we've seen so far tonight. Had a number of cautions. Rare to have so many cautions at the beginning of our race. Getting closer to that 10 lap to go mark. What a battle we have right here. Jason Crow knowing how important this is, not only for the point standings, but Rookie of the Year as well. A strong finish here could lock that up as there's a little dust in the air. It is not a completely slick track. There's still some dirt that's getting kicked up, and you can see a lot of it on the machines here. But yes, Aiden Young, mentioned him being up 9 spots. He's now ticked up to that 10th spot in addition. He is now 3rd and moving quickly in on Lassiter and Perry. But I'll tell you what, lap traffic, we talked about this. If we get a green flag run, lap traffic would be a factor. Well, here you go. It is a factor. And really it's benefiting Dylan Perry, who kind of got through the majority. Look at there's a bumper on the road. Oh, man, someone's having to pull off. Looks like that'd be... Oh, Andy Pierce. Oh, causes an issue there. Oh, that was brutal.
So 8th caution of the night comes out with 8 laps to go. So our longest green flag run of the night right there. Dylan Perry was able to pull away slightly as he worked his way through lap traffic, as he will look to hold off Lassiter, Aiden Young, Brandon Combs, and Joshua Johnson now, your current top 5. So we'll line them up here with under 10 laps to go now. As Dylan Perry was able to pick his way through that traffic almost easily, like we tend to see him be able to do here at these longer races with some longer green flag runs. So with 8 laps to go, we should be able to go back to green. No traffic ahead to complete this one, as it will come down to Lassiter and Young trying to chase down that P7 machine. So we'll get them lined back up here. Housekeeping, it looks like in the work area, Andy Piercefield just got back out on the track. Cody Early, Kendrick Hicks, Brandon Marlowe still down in the work area. We'll see if any of them are able to rejoin. It looks like Hicks might be rolling out now. As he's ready to enter the track there on the front stretch.
Why did this?
So Andy Piercefield, Kendrick Hicks able to rejoin. Cody Early, Brandon Marlowe, which Brandon Marlowe, started in the top 5, was up front early, never able to make his way back up front there, as we'll have a single file restart this time. It'll be 8 laps to go here from Lincoln. Green flag waves for Dylan Perry. Back to racing action. He'll be able to separate from Lassiter by the time they enter turn number 1. Dylan Perry all the way down to that inside guardrail. Lassiter will slide up in front of Aiden Young, hold on to that second position as they come around. 7 laps to go.
Yeah, and it's almost an automatic. You're going to have to assume that every restart, Dylan Perry's going to rocket ahead 2 or 3 car lengths. But if you're Aiden Young right now, hold that spot. Don't lose that to Brandon Combs coming down the inside. If you're Aiden Young, this is an amazing story. Up 10 spots. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there from Lassiter in front of him. He has a chance to go up 11 spots, take second. The win might not be realistic, but this track is tricky. I wouldn't put him past any of the drivers.
You can see them starting to press back there, getting closer and closer to that outside wall through the corners. Lassiter's gotten into it a couple times now. As Combs looks to the inside of Aiden Young, unable to make a move. 5 laps to go. You can see Dylan Perry's up ahead. He's using that inside line still as they try to track him down here. As Combs will fall back in line behind Young. Front 4 stays nose to tail as they exit turn number 4. 4 laps to go. Caution flag comes out. It looks like Cody Early involved in this one. As you can see, his damage machine all the way into the infield work area very quickly there.
So that has the opportunity to be the final caution, quite possibly. Not the night for a lot of these guys, Marlowe, Piercefield, Hicks, Early, Hine. Not the night they were expecting or wanting. But on the flip side, you've got some success stories. You've got a Dylan Perry, you've got an Aiden Young continuing to charge ahead, and wouldn't put anything past him here, but going to be tough. There's no lap traffic helping the guys behind Dylan Perry, so they're going to have to do almost the impossible, and that's win a shootout versus the back-to-back defending champion.
So it'll be 4 laps to go when we go back to green. So single file restart here again. We'll look and see. 4 laps to go here, maybe down to 3 when this goes back to green, depending on how this scores. But Dylan Perry looking to hold off Lassiter and Young. Green flag waves, back to racing action, looking to get to the checkered here. 3 laps to go. Lassiter still on that outside line. Aiden Young will scrape the wall right behind him. Oh, Joshua Johnson goes around behind them as he moves into the infield there. That will bring out the caution, as it is our 10th caution of the night. So Joshua Johnson, who was fast in his carrier heat race earlier in the night, not having the night he wanted here in this feature event. And with that, we'll line them back up, get ready to go back to green here shortly.
And if you're watching on the Extreme eSpeed TV YouTube channel, drop a comment, let us know who you think's going to win. You know, probably the minus 2,000 would be a Dylan Perry, but there's some plus 100, plus 200 odds you could probably get.
Green flag waves. Dylan Perry looking to hold off Lassiter. Lassiter getting into that wall. Aiden Young down a line this time, trying to make a move on that second position. Realizes that he's not going to be able to follow in Lassiter's tire tracks and make that move, so he'll look down there. Combs will look to the outside here. Now down to the inside as the white flag waves. Out front, it's Dylan Perry looking to add to his series leading win total. Picking up another victory here tonight at Lincoln. Your winner will be Dylan Perry second, Lassiter, Aiden Young third, Brandon Combs fourth, Jason Crow the rookie in fifth. So Aiden Young, one of the slowest in qualifying, ended up in the last chance showdown. Starts at the rear here tonight. Will move up 10 spots to third for our Buttkicker Hard Charger Award. We'll talk to Aiden here momentarily as we'll interview the top three drivers.
And we're joined now by Aiden Young, our third place finisher. Aiden, man, talk us through your night. You know, you were fighting just for a good spot in the last chance showdown. Finished 10 spots up from where you started. Talk us through this night.
Just really crazy and just had to be smooth and pretty much pick which line was the fastest and go with it.
What was different from whether it was your car or the surface of the track from when the night started with you know practice and qualifying to how it finished? What was there any difference between the beginning of the night and the end of the night?
It just got really more slicker and without any practice because I missed it almost. So it was really tough to figure it out.
Is this track one of the more challenging ones? You know, more cautions than we usually are typical for seeing in this series. Is it a little bit more of a challenging track, you think?
It's a little more challenging because each turn's different. It's really weird.
Awesome. Well, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to thank those partners.
I got to thank the Farmyard Store, obviously Young Land Creations, obviously the whole Gambling Motorsports team, Turn 1 Photography, and obviously everyone that's on this car.
All right, well, congrats, Aiden, and hopefully we get to talk to you again soon.
Hopefully.
Now joining us up in the booth is our second place finisher, it's Jacob Lassiter. Jacob, you settled into that second position there early, just no move to make on Dylan. Walk us through your night with your battle with the guys behind you and trying to chase down that P7 up ahead.
I mean, it wasn't a bad night. I mean, anytime you can get a podium, it's a good night. It started off good by just putting ourselves towards the front in the heat race, and yeah, I mean, we really didn't have anything for him. I was committed to the top, and because I could hit it better, but it just never seemed like off of 2 got come in like it needed to get a big run. I think I could do pretty good in 3 and 4, but I would lose in 1 and 2 and gain it back in 3 and 4. So, but yeah, I mean, all in all, it wasn't a bad night. Gotta apologize to Aiden on the front stretch. I come off of 4 and didn't realize he had that big a run and just made a little bit of contact with him, but he checked up for me, so can't thank him enough for keeping both of us in the race for sure. So, but yeah, it was my fault. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it wasn't a bad night. Anytime you get a podium, it's a good night. So.
We've had a couple breaks here recently. Now we head towards those summer months. How good does it feel to come away here with a great performance and a second place finish as we head into summer racing?
Oh, for sure, man. I mean, it maybe set us up a little momentum going into this point still. We're trying to gain a few spots and first and second, probably third are out of reach. But if we can get a podium or get a top 5 in the point standings, would be a pretty awesome deal this year. So, like I said, man, we hadn't run as much as we have been, so we took a little break from it. And, kind of helps to take a break from this because it gets frustrating at times. So take a little break and come back. So yeah, I mean, I think we're ready for this summer push, and I think we got some good racing ahead of us.
Well, great run tonight, Jacob. Who are those sponsors and those folks you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Just got to give a shout-out to the teammates, Team Hot Lap Heroes, Jason and Brandon, the race tonight. Brandon had bad luck and had a bad finish, so I hate that for him. And I think Jason, he had up and down night, but I think he managed to come back to maybe a top 5. So hats off to those guys. And got to give a shout-out to you guys for the broadcast, as always. Got to give a shout-out to Cody for giving us a league. And I got to give a shout-out to the wife for taking care of the little one.
Well, great run tonight, Jacob. We look forward to talking to you again soon as that's our second place finisher, Jacob Lassiter. I'll throw it over to Victory Lane. Adam, you've got our winner, Dylan Perry.
That's right, joined alongside another win for Mr. Dylan Perry. And Dylan, man, we were averaging, it looked like, a caution for every 5 laps. No, you had less traffic. There was a point where you had to deal with some lap traffic, but you didn't have to get too much into the weeds and into the mix of that. But what do you think made this track so challenging?
Oh, just with how narrow it is, it makes it hard for you to get a good run off the bottom if you're racing somebody. So it gets pretty top dominant unless you're out front and can kind of move around and keep momentum built in it. But I've always enjoyed coming here. I think I ran first or second for the race here last year, so I enjoy it. It's always a fun little joint to come to, so I always look forward to it.
Preparing, for this race, and maybe you didn't put too much in, but is there much seat time you need to put in for a track like this, knowing that, more if you're going to be in the mix, side by side with other drivers, but it poses different challenges than I think we've seen from other tracks. Did you have to put too much prep into this, or you just kind of trust your skill set?
I put a little prep in it, trying to get the rest of the guys, make sure they're ready to race, whether they're up front or middle of the pack. Just try to get them prepared to go through tonight's feature. I've been lucky that everything from last year that I was able to figure out kind of carried over, so I could kind of lean back on that a little bit. But we put in a couple laps just to make sure everybody was up to speed and trying to have a good night.
Coming up next week, we've got the 5th annual Freedom 100 from Lernerville. Talk about kind of what makes that track so unique.
Definitely not having a wall around 1 and 2. Actually, pretty much the whole racetrack besides the front straightaway. That makes it really unique and fun to get around and kind of technical. But I think it's going to be a pretty good race. I mean, we got 100 laps. Hopefully that can kind of play into where I want to be, because I've always felt like I've been pretty decent at 100-lap races. So hopefully we can put on a good show and come out with another good finish.
Absolutely. And before we let you go, since you had such a good finish tonight, let's give a shout out to those partners.
Yeah, first off, I got to thank Andy Piercefield and his whole family for everything they do for me on here and in real life. I know I say them every time, but I don't think I could win enough races in the year to thank them enough for everything they do. Evans Air Conditioning, you guys over at Extreme eSpeed TV, Piercefield Media Group, CVR Race Cars, CV Used Cars and Parts, Harrison Automotive, Newt's Lawn Care, MSW Construction, Coyote Media, SHP Mafia, Goat Farm Posse, FHP, all the guys over at Chipbangers Racing that keep me up to speed whenever we have a long off time. BPRC, B&B Custom Baits, Combs Cuts, just everybody that helps me week in and week out. I definitely couldn't do without them, and just try to ride this wave as long as I can.
Absolutely. Well, congrats again, Dylan Perry, and I hope we get to talk to you again soon.
I hope so.
Well, with that, another exciting night of Pro Late Model Dirt Series racing comes to an end. You can see your unofficial results over there to your left. It's Dylan Perry, your winner tonight. Jacob Lassiter, second. Aiden Young, your Buttkicker Hard Charger Award winner, and third. Brandon Combs, Jason Crow, your top 5. And with that, as another exciting night comes to a close, we'll say good night from Lincoln Speedway. As always, thank you for tuning in to Extreme eSpeed TV, and we look forward to seeing you at a racetrack soon.
This copyrighted broadcast of Extreme eSpeed TV Network is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without express written consent of the Extreme eSpeed TV Network is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed this broadcast.